What up? What up? What are we thinking? Episode number 22. We can drink. 22. We can smoke now. We're just a few episodes away from being able to rent a car at age 25. So I hit that milestone a few years ago, which was it was weird because I've rented cars before that, so I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know how I missed that, like how they missed that, but either way, episode 22. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a super special guest with us today.
The one and only.
The one and only
the
black
Popo
youngster
is in the house.
Is here. I'm kidding. It's Dakota Jordan.
That's right.
Local state trooper. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? State trooper.
Correct.
He will arrest you. He will pin you to the ground if you disrespect him.
Boom.
So, he's in here today. We have, honestly, a topic that I think is one of the most intriguing topics that I want to talk about today, because for those of you listening, you may not be able to tell this, but Dakota is black.
What?
I know, and so now that means he is black and he's a state trooper. He's a police officer, meaning the last few months have been very interesting and stressful, and as everything. And probably any emotion you could think of on this level for him. Definitely. And so here in just a second, we're going to get into just kind of asking him his take on some of this and just kind of what he's been through and, and just get a firsthand look as to what it's been, not only being a police officer during this time, but a black police officer, which is obviously going to bring in a handful of different challenges that not everyone can identify with. So before we get in to the seriousness of that, Dakota, how's your week been thus far?
It's been pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty dramatic.
It has been dramatic,
to say the least.
We can't give any details.
Yeah,
but he had a crazy thing happen to him this week that's enough that he's going to be able to tell his grandkids from years to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm going to tell my grandkids.
Right. He's not going to have to exaggerate the story.
No, not
because
at
all. It's already so crazy.
Yeah.
But maybe at some point we'll be able to tell the story. We can't right now.
That's right.
There's still some legal stuff. But how's your fam doing right now?
Everybody's good. Girls are growing. Family's great.
How's your dog?
My dogs are awesome. Bite, just normal things.
Right. Your dog's name is Margot.
Margot.
Right? Which is my dog's name.
It's crazy how that happens.
I know.
Kind of look alike.
Do they?
Kind of.
Your dog's a little bigger than mine.
Yeah.
How much do you think your dog weighs? 12 pounds?
No.
Not?
No, she's small.
7? 5?
Probably 8.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's just barely bigger than ours. Because our Margot is only like 6 or 7 pounds, I think, right now. So. Yeah. Interesting, dude.
Very.
Well, Josh, how's your week been, bro?
Busy. Just busy. I hate to say that word because that means I've procrastinated somewhere.
Right.
Which I have.
Explain that. Explain because I know what you're saying when you say that, but someone else may not.
Well, when I say I'm busy, it means I've lost control of my time somewhere.
Right.
So, like, I haven't done something well. So, and I learned this from the guy that actually is the CEO of CD Baby. He talked about that. He says, I don't say I'm busy because it means I don't have control of my time.
Right.
So, but I have. I have 2 or 3 times this week lost control of my scheduling and my time.
I like the way you put that.
And I have been lazy, and I have struggled with a couple of things here and there. And like today, I'd actually had something else added into today. And yesterday, I was like, I can't do it. Like,
right.
It's not even physically possible. Why did I say okay to that? So I moved it till tomorrow.
Good.
So it was actually something that I have to do. So anyway, my week's been kind of hectic, but it's been good. My kids are on fall break next week, so looking forward to that.
Yes.
And my youngest son actually graduated from yellow stripe to orange stripe on his belt at karate. So
He's a beast, bro.
That's what I'm talking
Dead
about.
man burpees. He's doing all kinds of stuff. He's 6 years old.
Sign's doing burpees. Seeing him do these burpees in the video it's one of my favorite things in the whole world.
It was really funny.
Sign's 3 feet tall, and seeing him do these burpees is just
going, 1 sir.
Yes, sir.
2 sir.
Yeah, that's it.
3 sir. 4 sir. Like he was, Ray's got him doing it, man.
I like it.
Yeah, Ray's got him doing it. So
I like that.
That's been good.
I would have cried if I was his age, Josh. I don't know if you understand. Well, I was a baby anyways, but like when it came to doing anything that was cardio related, the tears started flooding. Even if I wasn't like actually hurting, it was just like I went to one soccer practice ever, and I hated it so bad that I started crying halfway through so I could be done.
That's awful.
So I can't imagine doing burpees.
Wow,
that is
at
awful.
Zion's age.
I don't like burpees either. Like, and somebody
same.
at the
I don't like any cardio of any kind at all. Ever.
Somebody at his graduation asked me, "Can you do those burpees?" I was like, "Actually, I can." I was like, "I don't want to."
Right.
Who in their right mind looked at you and asked if you could do burpees? You should have taken your shirt off and just said, "What do you think?"
What do you think?
What do you think?
You
Wade?
see
Wake
these
up doing
abs?
burpees.
Do you not
Yeah.
see me running 5 miles every day with my shirt off,
Yeah.
like getting a tan and looking like a freaking beast,
And doing a burpee
and being
every 30
40
seconds.
years old?
That is key. That's
That's
why
my-
you run without a shirt, to get rid of the farmer's tan.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, is
people,
that-
people
that's the
don't
reason?
understand that.
But if you're like me and you have an old man body, you
It's not
can't
true.
get rid
That
of
is
your
not
shirt.
even true,
It is
dude.
true.
No,
I look
He's
horrible.
got
Are you
an
kidding
old
me?
man
I'm thoroughly embarrassed at what I look like right now. So I'm not running with my shirt off anytime soon. That's distracting. That's why I run inside. It's like, because if I'm running outside, I'm not going to do a farmer's tan. I'm not getting that. So I just have to sacrifice it and run inside.
Because
Yo,
my wife's
nuts.
not a huge fan of that. Like me running
Really?
without a shirt on.
Why?
Because people like text her. Like, and they're like,
Saw Josh
"Husband-
today?"
saw Josh run without a shirt on today. And I'm like, just stop doing that. I know it's a small town. I know you have
Well, who
nothing else better to
cares?
do, but just stop. Leave it alone. There's a stop it segment for the future.
Stop texting my wife about me running with my shirt off.
And it's like dudes sometimes. Like, stop running without a shirt on.
Dude, I thought
It's
it was so cool the one day that I was at the gas station and you like ran by and you're like, "Hey, buzzer!" And I
He did the
was
same
like,
thing to me.
dude, there's Josh. Like, I got
Just
to
running.
experience it. I
Yeah.
thought that's like legend right there, you know?
No, that's crazy.
How's your week been?
Oh, my week's been great. My week's been busy too, unfortunately. There's been a couple things that slipped. And, you know, it's not bad, but it's like the 15 minutes here, the 15 minutes here, the 15 minutes here, and the 15 minutes here. And then suddenly you're an hour behind.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if a lot of people, the nature of what we do is like, I don't do the same thing every single day, all day. And so for
true.
some people, they go to work, they clock in, they clock out,
Mm-hmm.
and they leave, and then they get to kind of have family time or go do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the nature of what we do is so different because we don't clock in and clock out.
Right.
It literally bleeds into, could potentially be every moment of your day.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
the moment you wake up, you've got text messages on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
While, of course, you're at work, meeting with people, planning, sermon prepping. On your way home, on my way home every day, I get called 3 times.
Right.
At least 3 times. And it could be like today on my way to work. I got to talk to a church we're connected to, just some leaders from it who had recently been through a big transition and were just kind of like letting me know and just, you know, we're asking different random questions. But it was like I didn't prepare for that conversation to happen. But I promise you on the way home, that's going to happen. And then while I'm at home, I go to the gym. And there's some people you go to the gym with that keep up with the church online, and they're going to start asking about the church and how it's going. And that's great. Right. But then I'm at the gym 30 minutes longer than I meant to be. And then I get home 30 minutes later, and then that puts me getting home at 9. Right. And then I go to bed at 10:45, you know, so.
You're working with volunteers, too, a lot of times.
Right.
So
you have
they can't do that until after work.
Exactly.
So then that you have to work with their schedule, too.
Exactly.
So
and so, like today, for instance, and so, you know, a lot of people don't even realize, because people ask me, you know, what does your week look like? And I used to ask that same question. And then I finally got in the groove of being a pastor, and I realized that's the hardest question to answer ever because it's so different. But like today, my wife has to work until 8:30 tonight. And so instead of coming in when I would normally come in, like I got here at 12:30 and I'm going to stay here until 8:30 right. Because it was like, oh, she's going to work late. I might as well work late and spend my morning being with her a little bit extra and getting some other things done, like paying some different bills, you know, making some different stops I need to make. But it just looks different. But hey, it's been a good week, a productive week. I am marking the checklist off, which in my mind mentally makes me feel good. I like marking the checklist off. I like having stuff ready to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it's been it's been good. My wife and I recently started watching Grey's Anatomy all over again, and so that's that's actually fun. I love Grey's Anatomy. We watched it through one time together already. It's been years ago, but we're watching back through it again, and so that's been a little bit of fun at nighttime. But I mean, yeah, it's been.
I had to go through that season at one time, like.
I didn't have to go through it. I loved it. I'm fine with it.
I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it until like it was just every other episode. It's like who's screwing who.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly what it
is. Especially when you get to like season, 3, 4. It gets worse and worse and worse, and it's it gets old.
It's like MTV, the real world.
Yeah,
they're pushing no doubt, pushing a little bit of political agendas like through it. You can tell that they are, like know that they are, and so
especially for that time frame, like if you go back and like in that time frame, it was
you better believe it. So either way, it's been a good week.
Awesome.
I've gotten good sleep, which is always nice.
Me too. I've been going to bed way earlier.
Yeah.
Same. I've been going to bed really early and getting up earlier.
I can't even stay up. Like
I know
it's 9 or 9:30. I'm like,
same.
I know I'm old, but
sitting on the couch, falling asleep while holding my phone.
That's awful.
You know how many times I've dropped my phone on my face in the bed recently, just looking at it, and Sam's laughing at me. It's a real thing. So
I'm more of a really bad posture guy on the couch. So like I'm sitting there like this.
Your head leaning over.
Yeah,
it's like the little kid in the car seat on the long drives.
Right. Neck hurting.
That's me.
My siblings used to do that all the time. So speaking of watching stuff on TV, did you see The Fly?
Seen The Fly.
Did you? Okay, now Dakota, did you watch the whole thing?
I did.
What are your takeaways on the debate? What are you don't have to. You do not have to share your.
Yeah.
You can. You're allowed to say whatever you want to say on this pod. That's the beautiful part. This is not a sermon. This is just a podcast. You can say whatever you want to say. What's your takeaway from last night's what's it called? Debate between the two potential vice presidents.
Well,
one vice president.
If it means anything, I'll tell you that I'm not going to watch any more of it.
Okay.
Between the presidential or the vice presidential.
Right.
The Fly is definitely what caught my attention during the whole thing. And it did look like it was stuck on his head. Like once it landed, it could not move.
He had a little bit too much hairspray on.
It was very loud.
Yes.
It was a loud pack hairspray.
What's that stuff called? In the old stuff in the gold can?
White Rain. Oh, well, I know White Rain is like the Dollar General brand.
Yeah.
It always reminds me of that country song. Oh, I don't know who sings it now.
What?
Spraying on that white rain. Jason Aldean, Hicktown.
Yeah, you just did that.
I did.
Yeah.
I just sang it. But it is. But it always, every time I think of White Rain, it reminds me of that song.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I didn't watch it. And the only thing that I know of the debate, the only thing I know, because apparently there wasn't much actually said. As normal, there wasn't many like plans given apparently, but I don't know. I can't just say that as fact. But the fact that I watched Facebook and the only thing that I could gather from it was that there was a fly stuck to his head at one point.
And the fly is famous. The famous fly.
Because like now it's meme worthy.
But it's even
everywhere.
Funnier that it's like there's so many older people right now running for this, and then there's a fly stuck to him is like, it's just a little ironic to me right now.
I think somebody said he was a fly guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Pretty fly for a white guy.
I think that's what it said.
That's
Offspring
so
song.
Boom.
Pretty fly for a white. Okay, so now I'm just going with TV right now. We're talking final season.
All right.
Who you going for? Who are you hoping?
I'm hoping that LeBron takes it on home.
Okay.
He's still a beast.
Yeah.
Will be
he is
for
a beast, man.
Who's your favorite player?
It is LeBron James.
Look
yes.
at you. I knew we had a deep-seated connection from somewhere.
It's so weird,
That's it, dude.
It's weird. But yeah, he is the man.
He is. Yeah, he is. Now you said something before we started this podcast. You made kind of like a little bit of a hot take because you said, all right, is it over? Next game, is it over? And I was like, yeah. And then you came back with something Talk to me for
Right.
a second.
Well, sometimes people want to make money, including the NBA.
Right.
I just have a feeling that for some reason they'll lose come Friday night.
So would you go on record in saying that you believe that potentially that games are on some level decided upon like beforehand, like
I believe that the first 2 games are played out the way they're supposed to play out. And then once somebody gets the lead, somebody has to lose.
right,
In order to keep the money flowing.
right. Because if you only have 4 games, it's only 4 games worth of money.
Exactly.
Right, but if you take it to 7, that's some extra
That's
cash.
even more millions that they made.
So how do you think that? I mean, like, you think that would go through referees, or do you think players themselves are told?
That's what I
You
believe.
make this game, like you make one more game happen.
They may play it. Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah, I believe so.
Players.
I think players
think?
look rather lethargic sometimes. Like in Game 3, if they're up 2-0, they're
Yeah.
just like, whatever.
Right.
Right.
We'll
Just
let this
Missing
thing happen.
layups that you get paid millions of dollars to make.
Missing free throws.
This
Free
is
throws,
the
yeah.
lowest viewed finals ever.
But that's not surprising considering
No,
the
it's not.
Very
political
true.
climate. LeBron James is so outspoken, which is something that I absolutely love about LeBron.
Yeah.
But obviously,
It's what everybody else hates.
that's gonna merit negative response, especially right now. And
Yeah.
so, it's interesting that it's the lowest watched finals, seeing as some people are watching TV right now. You know what I'm saying? We've been so conditioned to watch, but you're not seeing a lot of interaction with it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But Josh, what are your take on this?
Well, I mean, LA's going to win. I had LA at 5. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's there. So
Yeah.
I think they should go ahead and get it over with.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
like-
I mean, dude, they're just so dominant.
Yeah,
It's so much
absolutely.
fun watching, and it's not even just fun watching LeBron and AD
Mhm.
go after it. It's fun watching Rondo come in and
absolutely.
provide that like veteran point
Yeah.
guard experience.
Old school.
Oh my gosh,
I
he's
like it.
such a good player. He's so much fun to watch. He's probably one of the most intimidating people I've ever seen in my life. Dude, I look at Rondo and I'm like, there are very few people in the world that intimidate me more than Rajon Rondo.
He's
Well,
edgy.
why does he?
Bro, it's something to do with his facial structure. I'll be honest with you.
He
It's
looks like
his,
an alien.
It's like his high jawbones
Yeah,
and like
he's
his
like an alien.
the way his mouth is.
He looks intense.
He looks intense, bro. He just and he's got these
Intense.
super broad shoulders as well. So.
Right. Long
but,
arms.
But from what any of the like interviews I've seen and just even watching him play, he's also got a really intense demeanor and attitude. Like,
He's serious.
yeah, you talk to all the other players in the league, and they talk about how Rondo is the guy who is going to chop your head off if you do something wrong. Like he's going
Yeah,
to
he looks
cuss
like
you
it.
out and body slam you, and he'll get into a fight. Like he's not afraid. I don't want anything to do with Rajon Rondo, bro. I wouldn't even want to have to guard him. He's just so he's skilled, but he's even like he's already in my head, and I'm not even in the league. So
Did you see the game where AD made the game-winning 3, and he passed it to AD,
Oh yeah,
and then walked off the court instead of like high-fiving and hooraying with everybody else
Uh-huh.
he knew the job wasn't
he
done.
knew. Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, dude. That's
very
I love.
intense.
I will say this: I was a little disappointed that they walked off the court the other day.
I know.
Yeah,
that
Florida
was
did.
really
Bron,
third grade.
I
Yeah,
just-
he kind of upset me.
Like, man, dude.
Sometimes that's
you're
just
already-
immaturity.
it's just
Like,
your
yeah.
public opinion when it's already like struggling. You know.
And he
Yeah,
do that.
don't be
Don't
Isaiah
walk off
Thomas.
right. Don't
Yeah.
be that guy.
Don't
You're,
be Isaiah
people,
Thomas.
When you're great, people already want to bring you down
Right.
however they can.
And then you
Yeah.
giving him fuel.
Gosh, don't give fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I thought that was silly.
because he's normally not that.
I mean, I didn't freak out about it and like
LeBron,
wanna
right?
go crazy and steal his car or whatever,
Yeah.
like some were, but
Right.
like I just thought it was kind of immature. We know
It
how
is-
some people are. They're like, he's an idiot, ban him from the league. I'm
Right.
like, are you serious right now?
And steal his car.
God, what are you?
Because that's gonna happen.
It's like
but-
immaturity just breeds more immaturity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, it didn't merit a Facebook post, but I did give a sync. Like I did kind of experience a little despair. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
definitely. He knew better than that. That
Except-
was a
That's my thing. He knows
middle
better.
school move.
He knows better than
Yeah.
that. He's the beast. I mean, He's a guy everyone's watching, so.
It's like all the games y'all lost, y'all never did walk off the court, did you?
Wow. I don't know if I deserve that.
I'm just saying.
Well, no, I never did walk off the court because the longer you lose, the more you just get used to it. You have to start learning how to celebrate the little victories like, I scored 7 points today.
Right.
And
even
so for me, that's a win.
I didn't lost by 10.
Right. I didn't have 7 turnovers this game. I only had 1. Or I only had 6 turnovers. I actually dribbled the ball up the court during the press rather than freezing up and walking. I was not, dude. If I could go back and play ball in high school, I'd have so much more fun. I didn't have any fun playing sports in high school. And it wasn't because we lost. It's because I was so busy trying to impress my coaches that I just didn't have any fun. It was always like this job thing that
the pickup games were the fun games.
I always had so much, and I always thought, man, if I could go back and do it, I would care. I wouldn't care as much.
Yeah.
I cared too much. I didn't realize I played basketball for South Fulton High School, and nobody in the world other than the 80 people watching right now even care about this. So why don't you have a little bit of fun instead of trying to impress people who aren't watching?
Absolutely.
I have to remind myself that
there's
when
just
we preach,
a lot of pressure you apply on yourself in high school. There's just so much.
Yeah, it's stupid, dude.
I know.
It's so stupid. But I identify with the kids who like cry after the game because I'm like, man, I did that. But looking back on it, I'm thinking, why did I do that? So I don't know. Josh, one of the headlines is we wanted to talk about today was concerning Facebook. Fill us in, any of our listeners in, to our struggles that we're having right now, and then I'll let you end it with the specific one that you wanted to talk about as well.
Facebook started something new. It's been going on for a couple of years. They are limiting DJs from being live on Facebook because they play copyrighted music. They don't want bands going live on Facebook because you're playing songs that you don't own.
Right.
Sometimes, so they're doing away. They're actually saying if you do that now, they'll flag your account, even delete it if they need to get their point across.
Whoa.
So now that went into another change in Facebook went into effect October 1st, which basically shut down all your churches from live streaming on Facebook. So,
well, most of them definitely shut down us. I noticed a handful of churches that still went live on Facebook and didn't have a problem with it.
Most of those are going through their phone.
Oh, okay.
Like there are things that you can do, but I mean, obviously, you don't have the production value that you'd have.
Right.
But anyway, Facebook is listening to all these companies and all these churches that are kind of like, hey, we still want to be able to do this live. So I don't know what that means, if you're going to have to provide licensing content or like your licensing information to play this stuff, or just do without music and just do the actual message. So I don't know what that looks like. I do know I read that, I don't know, a couple of months ago, but I read the way the article read, it didn't seem like we would be affected at all. I was like, that's has nothing to do with us. And then when they changed it,
on Sunday, he comes up to me after the first service, or after the first worship experience, and the sermon had already been done. Yeah. He goes, I don't want to stress you out. And I'm like, oh my gosh! When Josh walks up to me and says that, I'm thinking, did someone die? Yeah. I don't know.
Did you die?
I don't want to stress you out, but we're not online, right? Or we're not on Facebook right now. He was like, Facebook's down, and for us, that's where a ton of people view from, because it's so easy. Right when you open Facebook, there it is. It's going to be the first thing that pops up.
It's all in one
very
spot.
few people actually use the app or YouTube or the website to watch live, and they'll use Facebook to do it. And so it is what it is. But
in our research, like this week, we don't know when it's going to actually come back up, but we do know this may be a bonus. Like if we're able to get people used to not watching on Facebook,
right,
that may actually be helpful.
It'd be great. I wish people would use the app.
Yeah.
My gosh, having more, interaction with the app would be awesome, because we'd be able to do more with the app. We'd be able to put I don't know, dude. I'm thinking I'd love to start designing. This would require me to be done with the sermons before when I normally am, but like notes. Like if you go to the app and fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That'd be cool.
The new modern world of church taking. Their church note taking,
because we have that capability,
right?
So
we
that's
could do
cool.
stuff like that. So I don't know. That'd be really neat. But I know you got one more thing that you want to talk about today.
Eddie Van Halen died.
Rest in peace.
Super
Rock
bummer.
and roll.
I always go
Rock
back.
and roll died.
He was like, every guitar player has this beginning phase of playing guitar where you idolize certain people.
Right.
So like he's always one of them.
Right.
You always go through your Van Halen phase.
Mhm.
So like you want to be him. You want to tap and do all these crazy things on guitar and play guitar like him. So
Josh still does it. Sometimes he rocks a mullet to church, and we have to say, "Hey, dude."
you can't have that guitar here. It's so distracting.
He just he destroys guitars after worship songs are over.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that was also my first concert, like rock
wow.
concert.
Oh,
That's
man.
so cool.
Not first concert, but it was my first concert not named DC Talk or something else. It was church.
DC Talk. Let's go. Did you ever see Jesus Freak performed live?
Yes.
I'm
At
so
UTM.
serious. Shut up. Are you kidding me?
Yes, at UTM. And I thought it was so cool
It is
until
so
I went to
cool.
school the next Monday
Yeah.
and I had the shirt on. I was like, "What's that?" I was like, "Oh."
Oh man.
So
I used to have the. Did you remember the Catch a Fire? Catch a fire, let it burn within now. Whoopsie daisy. I used to have a shirt that said Catch a Fire and it had like a burning person on it because it was Toby Mac. And it was my favorite shirt for like a year and a half. I mean, I wore it everywhere. And then it got stained and it messed up. And wouldn't you know it, one of our college students wore that shirt a couple of weeks ago to church. And I almost stopped mid-sermon and was like, can I
Give me
have
your
that?
not
Take
now.
your shirt off.
But like,
This is so great. Like I may preach in it at some point in the next few weeks because I thought, oh my gosh, that's a blast from the past right there.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of neat.
so Eddie died. That was a big deal this week for
What's
me.
your favorite song? Your favorite Van Halen song?
Man. So I like all the early stuff, but there's an album called Balance,
Okay.
and it came out in the 90s. It's just a really dark record for them. But the guitar work is so good.
Right.
It's like him to his fullest, and he's also experimenting with some new things, and it's just my favorite record by them. Period.
Cool.
But it is a little bit later in the catalog. I'm not a David Lee Roth fan, so I'm not. I like all the guitar work on those early records, but like if I ever heard the song "Jump Again," I would literally jump off a roof. Like,
Right.
I hope you never hear it.
Uh-huh.
I hate that song, but
Next time you preach, that's going to be your intro song.
I'll jump off stage.
I'll catch you.
Bye.
I'm just gonna fall off stage face first.
Perfect. Dakota,
But-
what's your favorite kind of music?
Ooh, favorite kind of music.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, genre. What do you listen to and you're just cruising?
I literally listen to everything. I'll say my favorite artist is definitely Chris Stapleton.
Okay,
Believe it or
cool.
not.
Dude, you can't go wrong with Stapleton.
Yeah.
Bro.
I
He's
like
so
Stapleton.
talented.
He is my guy. Literally never didn't listen to country music until the CMAs that year. Him and
remember
Justin
that.
Timberlake
Yep.
done Tennessee Whiskey actually.
Right.
Together. And I seen it on Snapchat and I was like, who is this white boy? You know what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he has so much soul. And
No, he's so
literally,
good, dude.
literally from that day, I fell in love with him. I've been to 1, 2, I think 3 of his concerts, and I was
So
like,
cool.
from me to you to him. Yeah.
Did you touch him? Did he give you a
No,
high
I
five?
didn't touch the hem.
Chris.
Yeah, he definitely knew I was there. I promise you that. He definitely
Did he feel
pointed
the
at me
power
like
come out of him, like when somebody touched him.
yeah.
He got
touched
healed.
me?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I actually had a stomach ache and it went away after I touched him. It's
He
crazy.
definitely knew I was there.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
dude.
he's like pointing at me like, yeah.
Dude, he remembers you. He
Oh,
knows
I'm
you.
sure he
He
remembers
knows
me.
you. He's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. He sees you like you pull him over one day.
What's up, guys?
He's like, dude,
Yeah, come on,
you were
man.
at the concert.
You're not
Yeah.
gonna give me a ticket.
If you pulled him, yeah. All right.
You literally
True.
have my
Real
t-shirt in the
question.
car.
As we get ready to start talking about some of this like super serious stuff,
All right.
if Chris Stapleton
Mm-hmm.
was speeding through a school zone, and it say it's 30 because that's how it always is in a school zone,
Yeah,
with a
or
little
15,
flashing yellow lights.
Mm-hmm.
Say he was going 65
Mm-hmm.
to a school zone. Say it's in a town he's never been in before.
Okay.
You pulled him over.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
He's getting a ticket.
He's getting a ticket?
Yeah, so I can see him again, man. I got to see him again in
Oh,
court.
that's
see him in
true.
court.
True. Okay.
Yeah. You get to see him again, and that time I'll be well prepared. I have all my stuff so he can sign it, you know. Man, I haven't thought about this.
Is that part of the plea deal?
Could be.
Could there be a plea deal? Would you include a plea deal with that?
Or he might go to jail. That way he can ride with me for a while. Ride circles around the town before we can talk.
I'm sure he'd be so happy to talk to you if you sent him to jail.
He probably wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But
He's a great guy, but I don't think he's that great.
You'd write the ticket, though.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Good man.
Yeah, he's
right
definitely,
here.
yeah. Definitely.
We know we're being served by the right kind of people when
That's
you
good.
say
Well,
you'd write your favorite artist a ticket.
Absolutely.
Because thankfully I'm not a police officer, so I don't have to deal with. Dude, how is that? When you pull someone over that you know?
Mm-hmm.
Is it weird? That's got to be really awkward.
It is an awkward situation, and especially depending on what they've done.
Right.
In order for me to make contact with them, everybody knows that I deal with that. You know, when I got my uniform on, it's all business.
Right. Right.
Nothing personal. And if I come talk to you, you'll definitely. It's either you're gonna receive the citation or you're gonna get pretty stern warning for me in order for me to get out of my car. But and talking about not taking anything personal, I was taught in my class, this guy, you know, he carries a Q-tip in his pocket, and it's a reminder for him to quit taking it personal. His job, you know, do your job, do your business, but Q-tip, quit taking it personal. Never take it personal. Don't take it home with you. And he taught me that, and you know, I learned that.
That's good. Actually,
it took me until the very end of that conversation to realize that was an acronym. I was like, I literally, you know what I thought you were saying? I thought he was going to he cleans his ear out after every ticket.
Because somebody said something bad to him?
Yes, because someone said something bad, so he's going to clean it out.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, what is
he'd have
this?
to have a bunch of them.
Right.
Have you used the same one? Have you ever used the same
day.
Q-tip and on the other ear and it's like wet? When you,
Yes, no, not about that. That's why it has two sides.
I can't do that.
You use one side on one ear.
Yeah, but you've never just done it before.
Dude, you're looking at my ears right now.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're trying to see if they're dirty, and now I'm
I'm not.
wondering, are my
feelings.
ears gross
Paranoid.
right now? Just
Nah.
looking at them like, don't look at my ears.
They're sharp.
Securities are here.
They're very sharp.
Sharp ears. My wife a few weeks ago said, she was like, I like your ears. They're not too big or too small. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's the weirdest compliment you've ever given me, but I'll take it.
I get that all the time.
That's
I got
good.
small
Really?
ears. Yeah.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
I've never thought, oh my gosh, look at Dakota. He's got
Your ears
small
fit your head. That's good.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, I'd much rather have quote unquote small ears than big ears.
Absolutely. Like
you don't
those,
have big ears.
no, but if they were like this.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
I wouldn't talk about you.
now in our
Not to your
culture of like
face.
having to wear masks though, all the bigger
Oh my
people.
God, they pull them out even more. It's
It's
awful.
so sad, dude.
It's awful.
I'll adjust them. Like I kind of mess around with them, make sure they're all the way
Same,
around,
dude.
because I don't want them getting right.
Bro,
Yeah,
I
man.
promise there's certain masks I'll wear and certain I won't because I don't want to walk into Walmart
Yeah.
with my ears.
Yeah.
poking
Mom,
out
look at
like
that guy. Look at his ear.
Because if you
Right.
wear like the gator mask,
Uh-huh.
sometimes if you put it on, if you're not looking, you'll put it on really weird. And so like if it's got something on it, you can't do it. And you got it like, I don't know. It's
We had a
really-
guy in court. His mask
odd.
had a star on it, but it was like the American flag, and it was upside down. And I was like pointing at him, and he finally looked my way. I was like, "Turn it up the other way." You know? And he looked. He's
Dude,
like, "Oh,
when you're
my
so
bad."
patriotic that you're wearing
Yeah, I know, I
American
can't-
flags on your mask,
yeah.
make sure they're the right way.
Right.
Dude, but I mean, I get it. I have a mask that has our church's, like the little OC symbol of our church, and I have put it on upside down before. And luckily, every time that's ever happened, I was with Sam, and she was like, "You look like an idiot. Your mask is upside down." And I was like, "Oh!" So now every time before I wear it, I have to.
That's right.
I have to like put it, and then I have to turn it to
it
make sure
to
that
make
it's
sure.
not upside down. So
Absolutely.
I get that, but
I have another headline.
dude,
I just read.
let's go.
And we got to throw it out here. So, for a couple of weeks, we talked about militias. Like, we talked about we talked about the one in Michigan.
I bet you love the idea of militias, don't you?
So, you have the militias in Michigan, the one that was guarding the barbershop. All right. And then we talked about the kid that crossed state lines that shot the people.
Mm-hmm.
That was super smart. Well,
super.
then, so going back to Michigan, we have a new
Going back to where?
Michigan. Michigan. I told you. See, they never be embarrassed. You got me.
No.
Oh, I
You ever
love
misspeak,
it.
I'm always going to do the same thing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I change how I talk. It's just weird.
I feel much better.
Whatever my
Just-
brain tells me to do, I do it. So, in Michigan, this militia was actually going to kidnap the governor.
That's smart.
They had meetings. The FBI got involved.
Shut
And
up.
there was 200 of them. They were going to put her on trial for treason, and try her for treason as the governor because they disagree with what she's doing.
Lord have mercy.
What was going to be her punishment?
I don't know.
Capital punishment?
It sounds like they already knew she was going to lose the trial.
Right. Well, if you're the one
I
kidnapping
think
her,
it was premeditated.
Let's
one
put you on
kidnapping
trial
her
even though we know you're
to
going to
put
lose.
her on trial for
Yeah.
something you're trying her for.
Yeah.
They went as far as to find out where her vacation home was.
Oh
my
my
God.
All
god.
they got with real estate agents and asked them where certain addresses were. They had all this research done. They were gonna storm the building, kidnap her, move her to a secure location in Wisconsin.
Some
in
barn out in the
Wisconsin.
middle of the woods is what they're
In
saying.
Wisconsin.
Oh my.
Not even the same state. They were
Right.
gonna move to another state so they could actually start her trial. Wow. So
I
that's
wonder how
intense.
nervous and scared she is right now.
So,
Even though they called him, but
um,
that has to be uncomfortable.
I just saw that and I
Yeah.
was like, we have to talk about that because we've talked about militias before, and I just said
That's insane. People are insane.
Oh,
People are insane.
people are losing their mind.
insane.
I mean, it's like,
Very.
yeah,
Discipline your children.
Boom. Oh my gosh. You are correct. It starts at the house. I tell everybody that.
yeah.
That's
It
our stop it.
starts at the house.
Starts
That's
at
our,
home.
that's our stop it segment today.
Yes.
Stop not disciplining your children and
Absolutely.
start
Start
disciplining
disciplining
your
your
children.
children.
They
Golly.
need you to discipline them.
Absolutely. They will thank you later. I thank my mom later.
Same.
I swear I did, dude. I just graduated boot camp and I turned 18 years old and realized that all she doing was training me for boot camp,
Right,
pretty much
right.
Marine Corps boot camp. And man, once I graduated, I thanked her
I
for
bet
every.
Marine Corps boot camp was crazy.
Oh man, it was a great time. I'd go back.
Really?
No,
Oh,
no.
it was the worst. It was
Oh,
super
my-
hard.
Oh man, it was intense every day.
Yeah.
Every day was intense. But I did hear the funniest stuff ever. I've never laughed so hard in my life. That
Right. Right.
the stuff that drill instructor says is pretty hilarious. The stuff they come up with.
Were you ever the butt of any jokes or any?
Oh yeah, man. They we be marching, and one of them, he was a black guy. Anyways, I was obviously in Paris Island, so I got even darker, about dark as this table right here.
Wow.
And we be marching. He's like, charcoal.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
and I knew he's talking to me, but I was like, man, I'm not answering him. Charcoal, and he kept marching left, right, charcoal. And one of the guys beside me, he's like, dude, answer him. I said, I'm not answering him. He's like, you better, dude. Charcoal. I never answered. He said, platoon, halt. Put it to a halt, which means we had to
No.
stop. And I knew then. I said, man, I should have answered him. He about killed me out there just for not answering him.
Dude, did he make you do push-ups? I mean,
Everything, dude. Mountain climbers.
oh
I
my
mean,
god.
Yeah, it was mountain climbers, push-ups, whatever you tell you, up, downs. We had one guy out there, and we'll get to the subject, but we had one guy out there, and they had him out there doing mountain climbers. I'm serious, probably 30 minutes. And he had enough. And
30 minutes of mountain climber.
And he finally told the drill instructor, he said, sir, this recruit requests permission to speak to the drill instructor. Sir, what do you want? He said, I feel I've reached the top of the mountain, sir. You know what he told him? He looked at him, and we all looked like, oh, God. He said, is that right? Sir, yes, sir. And he said, we'll go back down it. So he reached the top of it. Now he had to go back down it. It was another 30 minutes before he got done, man. It was bad.
No, is this like the mountain climbers where you're standing and you're having to bring your knees up, or
No,
mountain
you're
climbers
like-
where you're holding yourself up on the ground like
Bring
a
your
plank
knees to your
position?
chest.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Dude, 30 minutes
Yeah.
of that.
I'd puke.
Bro, yeah.
Oh, he did. I mean,
Yeah.
it was bad, very, very bad, but very amusing at the same time. Pretty hilarious.
I'm glad you think this. That just terrifies me.
I mean, you got to think that you wouldn't expect anybody to say that at boot camp.
Right.
And when he said go back down, he's thinking like, oh God,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Him.
They've heard it all though, so like,
Oh yeah,
and they've learned
Right,
a lot along the ranks too.
definitely.
Well, I guess speaking of people needing to discipline their children,
Yes.
tell us about the past few months. You have a unique experience in that one, you're a police officer. Is that the right word I need to be using right now?
Yeah, I mean that's it.
State trooper.
State trooper.
Yeah,
They're,
which I'm still a police officer.
okay. I don't want to refer to you as the wrong thing. I want to make sure I'm respecting the badge and the position and all that stuff.
no.
Dude, but no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I don't want to just
Yeah, I'm
demean what you do.
Tennessee State Trooper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got that position, which that's already a very highly criticized role at all in the nation right now. And then to top it off, you're not a white state trooper.
Hadn't been for a long time.
Yeah, pretty much ever. right since you started.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So just talk to us about, man, everything from. Give me a story if you're allowed to tell me a story, and just some of the difficulties that you've had to encounter and deal with throughout this time.
Well, it'll start. I'd probably start it with one coming from the Marine Corps and then going to being a Tennessee Highway Patrolman, a state trooper. A lot of people back here really didn't know me, who I was, and what I stood for. Man, my whole life, all I can remember is protecting people. Even in high school, middle school, if somebody's getting bullied, I was the person they came to.
Right.
So I've always protected people. But being a black man in this role that I'm in is really challenging. As a black man, first off, I don't even go to Walmart anymore. Definitely don't go to the mall anymore. I don't go anywhere because, and the reason is, and I can't blame people for this, but this is just the way I feel. You go down the aisle and it's you and a Caucasian woman,
sure,
and she has her buggy, and she don't know me, so
right.
She has her buggy, and when I'm approaching her, and she grabs her purse and clenches to it tight. It hurts my feelings, believe it or not,
sure.
and I'm not one to show.
Believe it, bro.
Yeah, I'm not one to show my feelings, but it actually hurts my feelings, and I got tired of it, and now my wife, she goes everywhere.
Right.
And I had to explain that to her because she didn't really understand it.
Right.
Now, with that being said, I can't blame that woman because I don't know what she's been through. Right. I don't know if she's been robbed before by a black male or male in general, but I can't blame her. And I'll also say this, and if I offend anybody, it is what it is. This week we had a BOLO, which is a be on the lookout for a vehicle that involved an attempted murder subject.
Sheesh.
Black male, short hair, 5'10". Look at myself in the mirror. That's me.
Right.
So black male, 5'10", short hair. He has a AK-47 and also an AR-15. A lot of people get upset. A lot of dark-skinned people like myself get upset when we are pulled over, and a lot of people like to blame it on our skin tone.
Right.
But if you listen to what I just put out, the BOLO that came across our radio for attempted murder subject, that's what it is.
Right.
So, and then going back to my job, it irritates me because there's a lot of my own people that won't talk to me anymore.
Right.
Because of my job, and they think I'm taking the other side, quote unquote, the other side. But I'm not. What I'm doing, one, is doing what I've been doing my whole life, and that's protecting and serving people. That's all I've ever known. And not only that, I'm also taking care of my family. We've had these protests going on in Nashville, and there's actually somebody just showed it to me last week, and I'll let y'all see it. I don't know why I didn't let you see it today, but there's a YouTube video out there, and it's a woman recorded me speaking with these protesters, and their question to me was, why am I on that side and not on their side? And I had to explain to them that, and their argument was about the bus. I don't know if y'all heard about the bus that's in the Capitol building of Nathan Bedford Forrest. Correct.
Right.
There's a bus of him in the Capitol.
They're moving that though.
Yes.
Right.
But that's the reason, one of the reasons why all the protesters was up there and, showing out, saying they wanted to break the windows out, wanted to go up there and get them, which, to me, I told them, man, when I go home, I'm not thinking about this Capitol building. This Capitol building is just a building to me. I'm not thinking about Nathan Bedford Forrest's bust in there.
Right.
That's just a statue.
Right.
Do I think it belongs in the Capitol building? No. Maybe in a museum because it is a part of history. But it don't bother me to the fact and to the point that I want to go out there and protest and tear up stuff.
Yeah.
So they asked me why I was on that side. And I had to explain to them, man, every day that I wake up, my job is to make sure my kids are able to go in the living room or in their room, hit the light switch and the lights come on.
Right.
They can go in the sink, turn the water on to brush their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen. That's what I'm put on earth for, and this is the job that I chose to do, and to me, I'm doing great at.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, no matter who I come across. And yes, after obviously there were people that have passed. The whole George Floyd incident.
Sure.
What's the young lady's name?
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor, excuse me, yeah. After her passing, it's kind of hard to look at certain things and do what I do. And there's been times where, I didn't want to put my uniform on, not because of me not liking my job, but the stuff that I knew that I was going to have to face.
Right.
But then I had to remind myself, Dakota, this is what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody is going to take you from it.
Right.
I don't know what else to say, man. There's a lot to say, but
have you experienced support from the people that you work with?
Absolutely. I've had guys that I work with come up to me and let me know, dude, we'd never do this to you.
Right.
While up there protesting, some of the guys or some of the protesters came to me and was like, dude, you understand that, if this was you, they'd do the same thing to you, or if you didn't have that badge and gun on, they stop you, they're going to shoot you too. And I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I also don't see it. And this is the reason why I say this.
Right. That's really easy to assume.
Right. My mom, from the time I can remember, maybe 2 or 3 years old, discipline was taught to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was told to do something, I done it. In the Marine Corps, when I was told to do something, I done it. In the Highway Patrol, when I told to do something, I done it. So if I'm getting stopped by a police officer, I'm going to do whatever he tells me to do.
Right.
Especially nowadays, people. Everything is being recorded now.
Yeah.
Not only are you recording it in the car, but all our patrol cars have camera.
Mm-hmm.
We have audio on our belts. Everything's being recorded. So if there is something that is being done wrong, file a complaint.
Yeah.
If you feel that you are being mistreated, file a complaint.
Right.
And now it's so different. Now things are getting looked into now.
Right.
And that was another question from the protesters. Are you glad that we are protesting? Are you glad that this is going on? And I told them, dude, I am glad that y'all out here protesting. I love a peaceful protest because now people are opening their eyes, and there's nothing that I love more is for somebody to wake up and see
that's good.
that there's more than what we thought was going on.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
So, like I said, if you feel like you're being mistreated, file a complaint. Now they have to.
Right.
Every department has to look into it.
Wow.
Go file a complaint.
How cool.
And if you feel that it wasn't met, take it up higher.
Sure.
Go see the mayor or whoever you need to speak to.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, they're going to look into it. So if you're the actual cause of the issue,
they're gonna figure it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't file a false report though.
Right.
And I'll put it to you, like that, because there are people that forget. I mean, this happened, just last month. This woman went to the Benton County Sheriff's Department, filed a false report on an officer. They looked into it, then they arrested her for filing a false police report.
Wow.
It happens.
Wow.
Because they forget that everything is being recorded, or there's proof that certain things did or didn't happen.
Yeah. How's it been? And Josh, dude, if you have questions, you jump in here too. How's it been with the not as peaceful protests? Like, have you encountered moments where, of course, you've encountered moments where there were peaceful protests, where people were marching, where people were holding up signs, chanting, you name it. Have you had to deal with any moments where it was less than peaceful, where it crossed the line into breaking the law, or you name it? I mean,
when all this first kicked off, we first had to go to Memphis. In Memphis, we was literally having stones. I mean, not just little rocks, but actual stones thrown at us, thrown off of bridges at us when we were coming underneath.
Wow.
And it's sad to have to go through that, and these people not knowing that everybody that I work with, that I know, will literally risk their life for that individual that's throwing that stone.
Right.
And I don't believe that most of your rioters are even there for the peaceful protest. I think a lot of people are just there to act out.
Yeah.
They need something to show out about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the drama is almost sucking them in.
Sucking them in. And my thing is, even though this may be off subject, but man, don't y'all got to work tomorrow? Like, why are y'all out here?
Right.
You know, we're out there all night long dealing with these folks. And I'm thinking, tomorrow I got to go back into work. What about you?
Uh-huh.
But anyway, that's another subject for another day.
When you don't have responsibility.
Right. I mean, where's your kids? You know, where's your family?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's Proverbs 29:18, which, of course, I'm a preacher, so I just quote a Bible verse.
That's right.
Crucify me for it. But where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Think about it. Dude, when you got vision for your life and you have vision for your family and for your finances and for your job, what? You have restraint. You have boundaries.
Absolutely.
That's what you do. When you don't have a vision for your life, when you're just kind of out here doing your own thing,
reckless.
Whatever. Yeah, you're reckless. You cast off restraint. And so it's just a perfect, it's not a new principle. It's like it's been that way since Solomon wrote it. You know, I'm not even sure who wrote that, but like, it just blows my mind, man. So you've had rocks thrown at you.
Yeah.
Is that the most? I mean, do you think that's probably the most violent thing that you've encountered during this moment? I mean, like,
during this moment,
this season in particular. Obviously, I know you've even talking with you earlier. You've encountered much more violent,
absolutely
moments, like that don't have to do with social injustice or anything like that.
You know, that is violent, but I tell you, I'd rather deal with that than the unknown.
Right.
And what I mean by that is you got all these people out here that's masked up, and they're not due to the coronavirus.
Right.
Masked up because they don't want people to know who they are. They don't want it to get back to their jobs or wherever they, live or work or whatever it may be. You don't know. We don't know what they have on them. Everything that we have on us is shown.
Right.
I have my Glock on my right, my, spray right here in front of them. They see everything. I can't tell what they have on them. So that's really it's kind of an eerie situation. The ones
Dude, it sounds eerie.
Yeah, it really is. And you obviously, they're mad. I mean, you see that they're upset, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're literally there to honestly keep the peace.
Right.
But I mean, it's kind of hard to do whenever people already have their mind made up that they want to show out.
Right. What would be do you have any words of advice, words of wisdom, words of, if you could say something to that crowd of people, and without getting retaliation,
My thing is, like I said, I believe in peaceful protest. To me, if you want to get your point across, be a peaceful protester.
Right.
Now, when you bring violence to the city or wherever you may be, the only thing we as law enforcement can do is bring violence also.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, being a bully or nothing like that, but it's not like I can go in there empty-handed and knowing that these people are going to be violent.
Right.
So violence brings violence.
Right.
But when you're peaceful, we have no other choice but to be peaceful. And that's exactly what we want.
Right.
I absolutely love a peaceful protest because now you're waking people up. Now now the quote unquote bad cops, there's nothing they can do.
Right.
Because
right.
if you're out there peaceful protesting, marching, singing your songs or holding your signs wherever it may be, and they're, bad cop tackles you or hits you or, whatever it may be, now he's exposed, or
Right.
he or she is exposed.
Right.
Because there's cameras everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just so if I had any words of advice, just be peaceful.
Right.
Get your point across, and like my mom always told me, kill them with kindness.
Right.
It hurts. It hurts people.
Mm-hmm.
Kill them with kindness.
I love that, dude. Josh, you got anything?
So on the flip side of that, though, as a cop, what do you feel when you see cops make bad decisions? When you see cops kill someone that they didn't have to kill? I know that's it's always treading on because everybody's reacting.
Right.
Absolutely.
In those situations,
And
everyone's reacting. I know, and I get that.
And the public never gets to see the full transpire of what actually happened hours before that event or minutes before that event. You get to see the 30-second clip or the 2-minute clip of what's on.
Right. Because I'm all
Facebook.
about, like, for me personally, and this is just, and I'm not a cop though either, but I'm never going to be the one like where the kid drove over to Wisconsin and shot some people just to protect some property. Like, to me, people are worth more than property. Like,
absolutely, I'm
always going to be that way. If you steal my car, I'm not going to shoot you.
Right.
Like, if you come at my family, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I just think we put way too much like power in stuff. Like, you're not going to take my stuff. I'm going to shoot you. But I'm like, well, that's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see the George Floyd thing happen and the Breonna Taylor, which was, I know that I don't know a lot of information about that. I just know that, whatever happened. She's dead.
Yeah.
But when you do see things that are wrong to you, like, where does that put you? Like in your emotional state.
Just like I was speaking to y'all about being an African American male, and there are some bad apples in the what is it? Bad apple. One bad apple
ruins the whole bunch.
Ruins the whole bunch.
Yeah. Right.
So being an African American male, and you got this guy that's, like I said, is wanted for attempted murder, makes me look bad. You see what I'm saying? Because he looks just like me.
Right.
Now, this guy, white or black, in a uniform that looks like mine, that's made this bad decision, makes me look bad.
Right.
I never try to punish another officer that's done something bad because I wasn't there. But I will say, I don't know how I want to put this. I will say that when a police officer makes a bad decision, Breonna Taylor got shot, prior Marine Corps and now in Highway Patrol, I know that if my finger is in the trigger well, that literally means that you are aimed and ready to shoot at something.
Right.
So when your finger is straightened off the trigger, you don't intend to fire. But when your finger is in the trigger wheel, you are supposed to be on target with whatever you're about to shoot. Every round is accounted for. That's what the Tennessee Highway Patrol teaches you. Every single round. So he made a mistake. Just, letting rounds loose. That is not what we do. That's not what we're trained to do.
All right.
You whatever you're shooting at is what you better be aimed at. And it, the facts, once it all came out, she was not armed.
Right.
I understand what happened with the boyfriend. I understand that whole situation, but I hate to Monday morning quarterback somebody, but I'm not going to shoot knowing that this individual, knowing she's right there.
Yeah.
Or if somebody's in the background, I'm not going to shoot because I know that this round that I'm about to send down this hallway or down this field could possibly impact somebody else. How about we just move out, get out the way? The George Floyd situation, me being who I am, again, there is no way that I could have literally stood there, sit there, or any of that and watch somebody do that. police officer. It could be a pope. I couldn't watch anybody kneel on somebody like that for any amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And especially while the man is telling you that he can't breathe and you're still kneeling on him and not moving.
Right.
To me, not only did that police officer fail, but the people that was with him failed him, because there are times that, we're human.
Mm-hmm.
And we make mistakes, and sometimes things get amplified and we want to act up, but we can't do it. And when I notice that another police officer is doing it, or if a police officer knows that I'm getting amplified and getting upset, that's when that other police officer
intervene.
Exactly. You step up to the plate.
Right.
Brother, get off of him. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
So they failed him. So it hurts me to see that. Man, I go to the barbershop. I'm not going to, throw the name of the barbershop out there, but I absolutely love my barber and I love the barbershop. But after all this went on, there were some guys in there that didn't even know that I was a highway patrolman. So I'm in there, cutting up with them, and they're talking about this subject. So I'm listening, listening what they got to say. And one guy is like, man, I think we just got to go out and shoot all of them. Talking about police officer. And I looked at my barber, and he looked at me and shook his head. And I looked at him, and I shook my head like, no, I'm not just gonna let that fly. I mean, that's not okay. And I told him, I said, do you know me? He said, yeah, man, I see you all the time in here. I said, but you don't know me. I said, I'm a Tennessee Highway Patrolman. And I took offense to what you just said. I said, there's people like myself that I work with that will literally take a round for you.
Right.
Literally do 130 miles per hour to get to you if you was in trouble. Mm-hmm. Risking my life, risking the fact that my daughters and my wife and my mom and everybody else will never see me again, just to save one person, and that's you. There's bad apples.
The guy who wants to shoot all the police.
Right, the guy that wants to take out all the police. I said, you are the problem. That's going to be an issue. I said, just like right now, I said, you could potentially be the bad apple that ruins the whole bunch.
Yeah.
Wow. With something like that.
That's good perspective.
Because
That's
there's some idiots that honestly would take that and be like, dude, you're right. Let's go, man. And because it's happening now. Those two police officers that was minding their own business, sitting in their patrol car,
right,
and that idiot come up to him and shot them both.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that guy listened to some guy that spoke just like him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Hate breeds hate.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Violence is going to bring violence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was just saying a while ago. Be peaceful. And everybody else will be peaceful.
Right.
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah. This is such a fair perspective.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
This is so. I use the word fair because it's like it's fair. It's level-headed. I love listening to you talk right now.
Oh my gosh, you're so crazy.
I do. This is so
good.
Fun.
It's good.
It's bringing me like life right now. Just hearing you talk, because it's like it's confronting issues on both sides of this this issue, which is not limited to just police officers. It's limited to the common public who many times are the people inciting these things happening.
Absolutely.
Like, you can't just confront police officers for anything that's happening right now without also confronting the public who's like, if you weren't acting up,
right,
nothing would have been happening.
Right, exactly.
Not to bring not to say that some kind of overreactive response was like necessary, but like at the end of the day, I mean, there's two sides to this thing. To every story, to every problem, to every crime, to every time a police officer responds to anything, there's two sides of it every time, and it's really refreshing hearing a cool take on it like this.
Because when I think of protesting too, I think of throughout the years, like from way back till now. I think a lot of times, because it's not like this anymore. It's not just a black community protesting like this.
Right.
The rioting, all that. So it's not. It's a bunch of other people with agendas.
I was just about to say with agendas.
Yeah.
Because historically, the black community, when they've had enough, they burn it to the ground. I've seen it. Like we've all seen it. And sometimes it's very warranted. I mean, but we're not in that situation right now.
Right.
Like we are at a time where everybody's beliefs get hijacked by somebody else that takes them and ruins them.
Yeah.
And it just, where's the stopping point?
Yeah.
Can there even be one? You know what I mean? Like, is it even possible to? Because I believe protesting is a great thing too. Like, stand up for what you believe in. I will always be that way.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love that. You have to.
Yeah,
You have
because if you don't, people just continue to do what they've always done.
Right.
Absolutely.
But let's be real. Like, when people started trying to do it peacefully, everybody dismissed them.
Right.
You know, whether you're telling LeBron to shut up and dribble or you're telling somebody else.
Blacklisting Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we forget about that because now we get the thing like, well, they didn't let Tim Tebow pray. I'm like, they kicked Colin Kaepernick out of the NFL.
Right.
They didn't just let them do it either. Like, they had to
Right.
fight to get this far.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think your perspective is needed because you're on both sides of this, and unfair most of the times.
Yeah.
You're in a very unfair position.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the same people that are trying to protest you and even say defund in the sense of like radically defund. Like we don't.
No,
the
that doesn't
idea
need
of
to happen.
defunding the police is
You
like,
know.
And I honestly don't think anybody really wants that to
believes
happen.
that. No.
Yeah, I mean,
what are they
that'd
gonna
be
call
crazy.
when someone's
Exactly.
robbing their house?
I guess
What
Ghostbusters.
the neighborhood watch.
Right. And
No,
that ain't gonna
That
come.
guy's
Exactly.
80 years old,
Right.
ahead of those in your subdivision.
Right.
No, they're not gonna call.
And he ain't
them.
coming.
They're
Oh,
gonna call when
he's
your
not.
kid runs out in the front yard and gets hit by a speeding car, and the car just keeps on going.
Exactly.
What?
Oh,
You know
man.
what
Nobody.
I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't think about it. But
I can't tell you how many times in the last year I've had to call the cops,
Yeah. Yeah.
for random stuff, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
everything from locking my keys in my car
Yeah.
to literal, like, what's it called when there's a fight breaking out next to you? There's a word for that. Civil.
assault. What are you talking
Well,
about?
not necessarily assault, but like, say your neighbors are getting into a really heated fight and you're not sure if there's a actual fist being thrown or not. I don't know. There's a word for that, but like, that's happened. Like to us this year, neighbors like kicking their door in, screaming at each other.
Wow.
We've just been like, "Hey,
Yeah,
we
you
need
might
some,
want to get
we
down
need
here.
some people over here."
Yeah.
Or like one time, Sam was in the salon late at night. Her client left, and a guy tried to come in.
Exactly.
Like legitimately happened, and she ended up having to turn the lights off, go into a room by herself, call the cops. They got here.
So think if she didn't have anybody to call but you, and you wouldn't know where around.
Right. I'm like in McKenzie,
Yeah.
and she's all an hour away. What am I
Exactly.
supposed to do? You know?
And who else do you call?
Exactly.
Her boss?
Her
Another
dad?
female?
8 hours away in
Yeah.
Mississippi, you know?
Oh,
yeah, her
yeah.
boss that's pregnant. Like, you know,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
I
what are they
don't
gonna
know.
do?
So,
I think what needs to happen is a lot more. There needs to be more accountability.
Definitely.
I mean, in law enforcement,
Sure.
or
Definitely.
anywhere, but not just training, but just accountability, man.
Mhm.
Like, we get into these. Every job has a brotherhood mentality. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Gas company.
right. It's a
Uh-huh.
brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all a bunch of Freemasons running around here.
That's
Like, we
right.
can't tell on
You
each
look
other.
out for each other. Yeah.
Right. So, but you know what? Sometimes you don't need to.
Right.
Sometimes you need to tell somebody, "Hey, man, this guy's got a problem.
Yeah.
Like, he's loose cannon."
Mhm.
You know, and because somebody could die. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, I know you can't always predict those things, but another thing is we just got to be like more intentional with loving people too.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
because there's a lot of hate in this world, man. It's just gonna grow.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear about it
Absolutely.
more because you're gonna be exposed to it more because you have internet. now.
Internet.
You
Right.
just you're gonna be.
It's not as if this hasn't existed forever.
It has.
I mean,
Right.
It has forever.
But if we wanted it to stop, I honestly believe, and I may be crazy to say it, but I honestly believe our generation can make this come to an end.
I would love that.
I honestly believe it. I mean,
I think we have the power to. Do I think we will? No.
no,
I don't
yeah,
think so.
and there's always going to be bad
I don't think
apples,
you can
but-
get people on board with something enough to do it. I think we have the power and the potential at our fingertips to be able to make it happen.
I think we have to make the decision to try.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest key.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, there's so many things I think about all the time. What can we do next
Mhm.
to battle this?
Mhm.
Like, what can we do, you know, publicly to bring attention to this, and this? Because I think you have to do that, like you did in the barbershop. When somebody says something crazy, you need to call it out.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'm not,
You stand up for what you believe in.
That's a grown up
Yeah.
thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I've loved getting to do that recently, even
Yep.
with other issues.
Yeah.
You know, like with issues that have nothing to do with police officers, but just with hearing racist comment, like overtly racist comments, and being able to be that person to say, "Oh, hey, we don't talk like that.
That's
like,
not okay.
That's not okay."
Yeah.
You know, and people are always so surprised when they get confronted like that. But it's
sometimes it's a wake up call.
That'll
for
be
them,
the
though.
wake up call that actually changes
Absolutely.
something. You know,
Because they'll go home and, you know what, I was wrong, you know?
right. In the moment, they're never wrong. But the more they think about
they
it,
show out
2 weeks later, and they're driving thinking, "Man,
I
really
wrong.
was wrong." They'll
Been
never
wrong.
tell you thank you for that, but it's like you know that it'll.
But they may not do something stupid.
Yeah.
Or convince somebody else to do something stupid.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Down
They
the
might
line.
think twice. So,
Awesome.
you got anything else, dude?
I don't, man. Thank you so much, dude, for being on the
Bro,
podcast today. You
Oh,
killed it.
This has been
Fresh.
so
Fresh.
valuable.
No,
There's
God.
no way that someone's going to be able to listen to this and not walk away feeling like
Yeah.
they received something valuable from this. I mean, sometimes I feel like the only value that they bring from this is like laughing a little bit at us saying
Well, sometimes that's all there is.
ridiculous stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm
But-
dumb and I just like to say things that's crazy.
Yeah. I like to laugh, so.
But this has been
Me too.
This has been so valuable. Dude.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Fresh
for being even
perspective.
able to say some of this stuff and being willing to say some of this
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And gosh,
like I said,
and
just
thanks
stand
for
up
what you
what
do.
I believe in.
thanks for what you do.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank you for being. I don't want to be a state trooper. That is 100% one of the last jobs that I want to do is be any kind of law enforcement or in the Marines. I also don't want to do that. So thank you for that as
Your
well.
service.
You know, we so
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yes,
And
sir.
we honor that, and we honor you and your whole squad and all of you
Yeah.
guys. So
I'm sure we all thank you for y'all support.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Well, what are we thinking? We love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 22.
Over and out. See you, Canada. Keep listening.
I wish I had one of the flags like Tony Will, or it's not Tony Wilbon. It's